Are you tired of your ad spend feeling like a total shot in the dark? You put money in, but you're not really sure what comes out. Well, today we're going to dive into a framework that turns all of that guesswork into a repeatable, data-driven science. We are going to build an ad testing machine. I mean, does this feel familiar? You're pouring money into paid ads, campaign after campaign, but the actual ROI is a complete mystery. You can't really tell what's working, what's being wasted, or if any of it is making a real difference to the bottom line. It honestly just feels like a black hole for your budget. Okay, let's break this down. On the left side, you've got the old way, chaos. It's all guesswork, gut feelings, wasted spend, and a super fuzzy ROI. But on the right, that's where we want to live. We're talking data-driven decisions, budgets you can actually defend, and a measurable, provable lift in performance. This framework is the bridge that gets us from the left side to the right. So how do we build this machine? It really comes down to 5 key steps. First, we're going to stop guessing and start scoring our ideas. Then, we'll learn how to seed content before we spend a dime. After that, we'll get into the nuts and bolts of running clean experiments. Then we'll measure what really truly matters. And finally, we'll turn all those learnings into a winning system you can repeat over and over. Everything, and I mean everything, starts right here with prioritization. If you don't know what to test in the first place, you're already lost. So instead of randomly picking topics that feel right, we're going to use a systematic scorecard to rank our absolute best opportunities. Now, a really key part of our scorecard is something called AEO potential. Just think of it as answer engine optimization. It's basically asking how likely is it that a search engine or an AI like Siri or ChatGPT will grab a short, direct answer straight from our content and feature it. In today's world of search, this is absolutely crucial. And this is where the magic really happens. This scorecard turns a vague idea into a concrete, actionable plan. We're scoring each topic on things like user intent, that's AEO potential we just talked about, and of course its commercial value or LTV. But here's the kicker, we also score the efforts required. The final score blends all of this together, giving us a ranked list so we can tackle the highest impact, lowest effort ideas first. Just look at topic A versus topic C. Topic C has double the LTV, but the high effort pulls its score way down, making topic A the clear winner to start with. Okay, so we've got our prioritized list. Now you're probably thinking the next step is to start spending some money, right? Well, not so fast. The smartest move is actually to build a baseline first using the channels you already own. So before you spend a single pound or dollar on ads, you need to seed your content on your own channels. Think social media, your newsletter, your blog. This is such a brilliant move because it does 2 things at once. First, it gives you instant feedback from your most engaged audience. And second, it creates a clean control group. That way, when you do start spending money on ads, you can clearly see the additional lift you're getting. It separates the signal from the noise. And when you do start spending, this chart shows a really powerful tactic, front loading. The idea is to throw about 60% of your test budget into the very first 3 days. Why would you do that? Well, it's all about accelerating your learning. You get a flood of data really quickly, which helps you identify the winners and losers fast, so you can start making smart decisions within that first week. Alright, we've prioritized our topics, we've set our baseline, and now it's time for the fun part, actually running the experiments. But, and this is a big but, to get clear, trustworthy answers from our tests, we need to follow some strict rules of engagement. Rule number 1 is a big one. Never, ever ever link an ad to your generic homepage. Please don't do it. Instead, send that traffic to what's called an anchored fragment. It's basically a specific section of a page, or even a tiny landing page, that directly answers the ad's promise. This drastically reduces friction and makes it much more likely that person will convert. You know, this might be the single most important rule in this entire playbook. If I can get you to remember just one thing, it's this. If you change the headline, the image, and the call to action all at once, you have absolutely no idea what actually made a difference. The discipline to test just one single variable at a time is the secret to getting results you can actually understand and build on. And here's a perfect, simple example of that in action. We're testing 3 different headlines, A, B, and C. But notice how everything else is locked down. The thumbnail image and the call to action button are completely identical for all 3. The audience is the same, the budget is the same. This setup perfectly isolates the headline's impact. So when we get the results back, we'll know with confidence which one really resonated. So running the test, that's only half the battle. Seriously, if you're measuring the wrong things, all that hard work is for nothing. This whole section is about moving beyond vanity metrics to prove the true commercial value of what you're doing. So forget about just counting likes or impressions. This framework uses 5 core metrics that tell a complete story. It starts with CPM, how much did it cost to even reach people? Then CTR, did they actually care about our message? Then landing page engagement, did they like what they found when they clicked? Then cost per qualified lead, are we getting efficient results? And finally, the ultimate question, payback. Is this whole thing actually making money for the business? But how do you really know your ads are creating new customers and not just reaching people who would have bought from you anyway? That's where a holdouts cohort comes in. You intentionally hold back your ads from about 10 to 20% of your target audience. This becomes your pure control group, and it's absolutely essential for measuring true incremental lift. And this is exactly why the source material puts such a huge emphasis on this point. By comparing the ad group to the holdout group, you measure incrementality. In other words, you're making decisions based on the net new value you're creating, not just fuzzy metrics like exposures or clicks. It's about real business impact. So we've planned, we've executed, and we've measured. The final crucial step is what turns this from just a one-off campaign into a true ad testing machine. It's about building a repeatable system that gets smarter over time. See, this isn't a project you do once and then you're done. It's a continuous rhythmic cycle, a loop. You test with that front-loaded budget. You measure those 5 core metrics. You ruthlessly, and I mean ruthlessly, pause the losers. Then you reallocate that budget to scale the winners. Then you do it all over again with your next best idea. Of course, data can be messy and volatile. It's so easy to jump to the wrong conclusion. So to avoid that, you need discipline. Don't you dare declare a winner without a decent sample size. Look for a consistent lift across related metrics, like a higher click-through rate and a lower cost per lead. And most importantly, keep a strict log, an experiment register, so your team's learnings accumulate over time. So I'll leave you with one question to think about. Is your marketing an expense, or is it a growth engine? By adopting a structured, data-driven framework like the one we've walked through, you have the power to turn it from a cost center into a predictable, scalable engine for your business. The choice, and now the tools, are yours.